tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show.
What's up, everybody?
Sorry, before we start, I had to start this.
And this is the prep that I'm talking about.
Already crashing in.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I was just saying I had to start this because the conversation was that good.
I'm
So,
not.
no.
I'm not going there. So,
Okay.
welcome to another episode. For the third try, welcome to another episode of the Tailgate Show. You drag me into do a pod and you don't even let me do the intro. You guys are the best, man. I'll tell you.
Why are you lumping me into that? I didn't fucking interrupt your intro.
I did it.
It's gonna sound great on pod form, Jer. I appreciate you. So, first topic, boys. We got the big failed physical by Ogunjobi. What are you guys feeling on that?
Man, it was a bummer. I was really looking forward to seeing how he'd play in this defense. He hasn't signed with anybody yet, correct? So he's still a free agent.
He failed the physical, Jer.
I know, but you just think about what is his future now? You know, what happens to that guy? Does he
gets healthy and probably signs a cheap deal somewhere.
Right. Do the Bears get a sniff at that whenever, because they were, forthright with him? I don't know. I don't know where that goes. And I feel bad for the kid, man. That's life-changing money he was about to sign. And now it's gone, man. It's probably, you think about the psychological part of being a good player in the NFL. Confidence plays such a huge role in it, and his confidence has just got to be shaken a little bit.
Biscuits, what do you got, man?
Sorry, I'm just retweeting the YouTube link from the pod page because I get
Oh,
accused of not running the pod page. So, yeah, it's definitely disappointing. 3 technique is super important in Fluce's system, and it sucks. But I think a lot of people are kind of I think unfairly criticizing polls, saying what a huge misstep. You're only allowed certain medical access to these guys. You sign the deal, you bring them in. Hey, I give them kudos for not, just trying to push that thing through and saying, whoa, red flag here. Let's pump the brakes and readjust this somewhere else, which we saw with Justin Jones. I'm okay. It sucks for him. But
and honestly, kudos to all the people that knew about the unbelievable talent that Justin Jones is. Every time a name comes up and they're back up somewhere else, or they really haven't done much. Like, I gotta give Twitter credit for really going hard in the paint and acting like they know what the fuck they're talking about on there. It's really impressive. Like, they watch 2 minutes of a fucking YouTube clip and Google his name and read a Wikipedia, and it's on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm just saying, like, some of the names that we've signed, these guys have full fucking breakdowns within 5 minutes of the news being dropped.
Right.
We'll get into that a little bit more later.
Oh yeah, sure. There's just no shame.
No, it's a 10-minute Google search, and now everybody knows Ryan Bates and his extensive history and how much upside he has.
Yes, and Ryan Bates did have a visit, and
what is the word you're getting out of Buffalo, though? You've got a little link to Buffalo.
I sent him that. I sent a guy I respect for Bill's coverage. That covers the team, and basically I sent him the link. What is it? Brandon Robinson, is that the dude's name? How he said he was phenomenal,
right?
And the response was, he's good. Phenomenal is a little bit of a stretch. Like, he was a backup, man. He was an undrafted rookie out of like Penn State. He's solid, but like
Big Ten lineman. That's
yeah, and I appreciate the people that are super optimistic. I wish I could be that way, but like he'd probably be a nice addition, nice depth piece. I don't know if he's going to come in here and light the world on fire.
Has
No,
your brother said anything over there at Cover One?
That's who I was referencing, but thank you.
Oh. Well, there's a little behind the curtains details, people.
There it is.
I mean, I respect his opinion. A guy who's watched every snap that he's taken.
Yeah, he said he's good. There's nothing. I mean, the Bills obviously want him back at the right price. They put a tender on him, right?
But not high enough to where they would walk away with any compensation. Does that spell any red flags for you guys? A team that's
not really
up close and personal, they're not willing to risk at least like a second round tender on him.
He's a guy they can live without,
right?
But they.
Well, I don't know right. Yeah, I don't know right now with the way that conference is shaking out. Depth is going to be a big. The AFC, not depth is going to be key in that conference. There's so much talent that's there.
I guarantee you, a older veteran with a lot of experience wouldn't mind sitting in their depth chart.
But the interior of their line wasn't exactly stellar this past year.
Well, that's why you said good and not phenomenal.
What does that tell you then, Biscuits? If they're not willing to lock dude up, and
well, that was sort of my point leading into why weren't they willing to tender him at a second or third round level when the salary difference between that and a draft pick at that range really isn't that much higher. I think it's like a 1 mil or 1.5 mil higher. I'm just saying, I think maybe Bears Twitter needs to pump the brakes a little bit on Ryan Bates.
No.
You don't think so?
They would never.
People saying we cannot let him leave the building like he's fucking Quentin Nelson, man. Come on.
We could trade for Quentin Nelson. I'd take it.
Say the guy's got 4 starts and everyone's acting like, dude, people are coming after me like every name to look into him, bro.
It's every name
brought up. I mean, dude, the freaking why am I drawing like Armstead?
Taking off the glasses.
Everybody's freaking out about Armstead's deal with Miami. It's like the dude played like average if you take his career games played and average them out through the years he's been in the league.
Just over 10.
Yeah, it's like 11 starts a year. Like I don't know how much you throw at that. Yeah, he's good when he's available. We've been there before.
Yep, been there a lot. And there's a chance. I put this tweet out.
I was about to reference that, Jared.
There's a chance that Poles believes in the guys that are on the roster now. Call it crazy.
To read Jared's tweet, what if Poles' patience pays off and either we actually do have our guys on roster for the O-line and he didn't overspend for injury-prone tackles, or he drafts one early in the second that turns out to be a good starter? In an instant gratification society, maybe the best move is to wait.
Yeah. Let things shake out. I mean, we've got plenty of talent still available. Eric Fisher's still not signed by anybody, is he?
No, he's not.
No. I mean, everybody's tripping, dude, because of a guy that only played fucking 10 games last year.
Yeah, Dwayne Brown.
Get the fuck out of here with that.
Dwayne Brown. 15 mil per.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is not bad. Which is not bad for a tackle.
No, it's not bad.
But the reality is, too, is that most of your pressures anymore come from the interior of the line. The closest between 2 points is a straight line, right? If you ain't got your interior line fixed first and foremost, then what the fuck are you doing? Tackles it ain't 2001 where you need that anchor left tackle anymore.
Except maybe in the AFC East this year. Got some pretty damn good pass rushers in that division.
Name 5 starting left tackles. I bet you can't do it like you could do 20 years ago.
What? Oh, I think I could.
Go.
Why?
All right.
Jesus Christ.
No, I'm just saying they aren't household names like what we were used to. You know what I'm saying? It's like
I think I could name more starting left tackles than I could starting guards.
I bet you could name more guards now than you could back then, though. You know what I'm saying? It's just it just shows the shift in the dynamic of the way defenses are playing offensive lines and quarterbacks. I'm not saying that tackles aren't important. I'm just saying the massive amount of importance that they used to have is not that way right now because of the read option, because you play off the tackle.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. Interior pressure has definitely been more of a focus. I think that conversation really started to rear its head, and people started to take note of that once Aaron Donald really started wrecking stuff up the middle.
And when Quentin Nelson got drafted so high.
True.
And Ndamukong Suh.
Yep.
I mean, just to throw a few names out there. And I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying they're not important, but your quarterback can manipulate that tackle spot in his depth of his drop, him stepping up through it. Now, if your interior line can't hold up and give him a place to step up at, then what? You know? That's why I feel like the interior is more important.
Well, we were talking about tackles available. You're right, Eric Fisher. I think Dwayne Brown's still out there, and I think Billy Turner is still out there.
Right.
So there's always, that
there's always somebody.
Third wave. J.C. Tretter's still out there too, isn't he?
Yep.
Center. And Bozeman. That kind of pissed me off. That
that one.
$2.58 million.
Yep. That's a cheap center too.
But does that tell you more about how Poles and company feel about Lucas Patrick playing center, which he confirmed earlier?
Didn't he get graded better as a guard?
No, he got graded better as a center than he did a guard.
Did he?
Almost 100% sure.
Wow.
I mean, I've talked to a couple Packers fans, including my brother, and he said center's definitely his better position. I think that's pretty much the general consensus among people that have watched him. I mean, seeing Bozeman for 2.5 definitely hurt, but if they truly view Patrick as that starting center and maybe an ascending player, I'm not saying I believe in that, but I think that signals that they view it like that.
Okay. So what do you think about the idea that maybe that other guard is already on this roster? Do you think Latavius Simmons could sneak into that spot?
Boy, that's not a gamble I'd be willing to take.
Yeah, there's and that's why I'm having a hard time, because it's just like covering two drafts. Really, the guys we're bringing in, they're just as unknown as draft picks, to be honest. Yes, they're in the league, and yes, they've had some production, dude. But like, we really don't know.
Simmons was going to be a starter for us until he got caught with COVID on the way to Tennessee, right?
No.
Yes, he was on the plane. He was supposed to get his first start versus the
Titans. He
Titans.
Got hurt, Jared. They were down in like nothing. They were taking people like.
I think it would have been nice to see him, and maybe like.
Well, didn't we see him play a little bit at right tackle and see him get beat like a drum?
Yeah, at right tackle.
Yeah.
So.
I don't find anything interesting about him, so I couldn't tell you.
And Hambright's in there too. Who else is left on the roster? I think that's about it.
Oh, it also depends on how they view Jenkins and Borum too, right?
True. And I think you're kind of getting a view on how they view those two by the inactivity. The inactivity and free agency for it. I mean, I think that says something about what they think about Borum and what they think about Jenkins. Now, that could all change with a couple of signings. So.
Yeah, let's say you have one signing and you take a guy in the second round. I mean, granted, like Diddy said, there's still a lot of unknowns and hopes and wishful thinking going on there. And I get the argument that's maybe not the safest thing to do in year two of Fields' development. But again, I just have a hard time for me sit here and criticize so much two former offensive linemen who should know how to scout and identify those guys. I mean, it's not like the Chiefs and Eagles had bad lines while they were there.
The Chiefs had some ups and downs, but yeah. And the Eagles too, after the Super Bowl run, that offensive line changed a lot. Jason Peters fell off.
Lane Johnson
kind of fell off too.
Kelsey got long in the tooth, but even he's still.
Kelsey's a beast, dude. He's the best. I'm telling you, if you go back and watch him 2 years ago, and you're into that center play, he is probably the best guy to watch on film. He's a mauler. He can get after you. I mean, I love it. And I hope that we get the same production out of our center position.
Well, speaking of that, we're going to need that. I mean, we kind of got an answer to the direction that the offensive line and the offense is going to be going, and Biscuits alluded to this, and Coach T's talked about it on his breakdowns. Is we got the fullback,
Wow,
Kari Blassingame, and so that kind of that whole power gap idea that Biscuits brought up last week, and Coach T referenced on his Getsy breakdown. It kind of feels like that's the direction we're going in. And this kid's actually, I'll throw it to you guys in a minute, but like I've always talked about this, Jared, where you can have that's why I wanted Nall to be a fullback, because he has offensive explosion abilities at the fullback position, and that throws teams off.
The Chris Cooley spot.
Blassingame the same way. He can hold down what he needs to hold down as a traditional fullback, but he also he can run really well. He's good in the pass game too. So I like the idea of where that's going, and we need to bring in the guys up front that can really smash a motherfucker in the mouth.
I agree.
Because that power gap is you're basically saying this is what the way you run power gap, and Coach T references to is this is what we're doing. You should be able to go up to the defense and say, this is what we're doing. This is where it's coming. You're not going to be able to stop it.
Right.
It's a different mentality that our offensive line just hasn't had in a long time.
God, not since 06.
But what are your guys' feelings on that signing with the fullback?
How does David Montgomery feel about being a single back now dropped in with a fullback? That's a question I want to ask you guys.
Did he have one in college?
I think he pretty much ran spread shit, like what they, read option, spread, things like that.
I can't imagine he's unhappy having a lead guy in front of him clearing the lane.
I just wonder, because Khalil Herbert, I just feel like if you get a guy in front of him and give him a crease, I think he's more apt to take off and be gone, I think not that David Montgomery isn't, but
I think if you get him one-on-one with a safety and he doesn't start juking till he gets to that point, it could be very dangerous.
This thing screams Khalil Herbert to me. I feel like this is a move to get Khalil Herbert more carries.
I don't know, man.
Why not both?
Yeah, the thing is, Monty's tough to bring down, though. And if you're getting him on a safety and that's his first fucking sniff at contact. Yeah, buddy. That's kind of where you want him. I'm not saying he's going to hit home runs, but I think he could have a lot of production. I think Khalil has at times like hit the hole harder. I mean, Monty showed that burst until he got injured. Like you definitely see all that speed, but I think two backs that can produce is a good problem to have.
I agree, but I don't know. It's just something that was on my mind. It's like I just wonder how he felt about it.
Well, Herbert kind of reminds me of Thomas Jones a little bit. That one cut and go type of guy. Maybe Jared's onto something there with how Jones had McKee. I still think Montgomery. I don't see why he would be unhappy about that.
I don't see why Justin's going to be happy as hell to have Monty and a fullback back there if they pass out of that, because you have two guys that can legitimately block. And
also a good point.
The thing with Monty too is we've been talking about that safety valve for Justin, and like he could be Forte-esque in this offense. Like if we can set up screens, Monty can eat. Like he's got that skill set. So
Justin's pretty good off play action too in college. You could see that on his tape.
We just couldn't set up screens. I think that's gonna change.
I completely agree with you.
I mean, with that power gap, you're still gonna see the zone reads and the freaking. It's gonna be a mixed bag, but like the smash mouth stuff will kind of actually, it's gonna be refreshing. So
true. Biscuits and gravy.
What's up?
Well, we already talked about Patrick being confirmed to play center, so
which is nice.
Montgomery had a fullback in college, but that's going to be a deeper dive.
Somebody wanted to talk about Davante Adams trade.
Yeah, me. Why not? It's
Didn't
probably the best thing that's happened in
trades.
our off season so far.
I disagree.
Sadly, what was better than the Davante Adams trade?
I thought we talked about it last week.
Did we?
Yeah.
Pony, can you confirm that? Did we talk about that last week?
I don't know. We can talk about it again. Screw it.
I don't think
like
we
it.
did.
I like the move by Green Bay because you got a lot for a guy that you're not re-signing. You got a lot for him.
Isn't that odd though? I mean, I know he grew up a Raiders fan and he went to Fresno State. Like, I get all that, the Derek Carr connection, but would you rather catch passes from Derek Carr than Aaron Rodgers
and get paid and be warm?
Green Bay was willing to offer him more than what the Raiders paid him. He just didn't want to be back in Green Bay.
California kid.
Have you been to Green Bay? Have you been to Wisconsin?
Just saying, you're in a position to get paid because of what you've done in Green Bay.
For what?
They'll name a street after you, and you'll never pay for a meal in that city.
For
Free
1
cheese
year.
for life.
For 1 year, and you're gone. You're discarded.
What do you mean?
He signed a multi-year deal with the
Green
Raiders.
Bay
correct?
offered him higher money per year on a multi-year deal.
Really?
That's
I
if you
thought it was
choose
the 1 year.
believe the report. Oh, they franchise tagged him, but the report says that the Green Bay was willing to pay him more.
Sure, but you have to really get into the tax breakdown of Green Bay versus Vegas. There's a lot that plays into it. Also, the marketability. There's so much more opportunity for freaking sponsorship.
Now that's true.
In Vegas, he'll make it out on the back end.
But has Devontae ever struck you as a guy that wants to be around the glitz and the glam? I mean, he's not a diva, very quiet, hardly ever talks. I don't know. He just didn't peg me as a Vegas guy.
Carr's his boy, dude. That's all there's to it. He bought a house next to him a couple months ago, right? Like, that's his dude.
I'm just saying, I don't know why I guess I'm always the one that take the safer approach. It's
Rodgers is a
Green Bay for
dick,
you,
bro. That's what it tells me. Rodgers is a dick. People
pay
less money to bounce.
Him and Rodgers have always had a tight connection. He's part of that Friday night crew. It's him, Preston Smith,
How'd that work
Devontae, David Bakhtiari, and somebody else. They all get together every Friday night. So I don't imagine
there's literally nothing else to do in Wisconsin.
I'm just saying, you have your choice of hanging out with different teammates. That was a group of guys that hung out together. I don't think the relationship was that bad. I'm a little surprised. I'm happy, but I'm surprised. Because now what? Their wide receiver one is what? Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb?
Till the draft, when they take every receiver you want off the board.
Is there a Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson in this draft?
Who the hell knows?
I guess the bigger point that I'm making is the Jamar Chase and Justin Jeffersons of the world don't come along too often. So is drafting rookie wide receivers and hoping they develop fast enough to sync with the timeline that Rodgers has left. I think
good thing Aaron Rodgers never developed any receivers.
He has, but it's going to take multiple years. It didn't take Devontae until what, year 3, year 4 to become Devontae Adams. Rodgers has 2 to 3 years left maximum. So if you're the Packers, your approach should be going all in. Like the year they took Jordan Love in the first, you should have taken a wide receiver.
Imagine if the rookie, they'll bring in Julio. They'll do something similar to that. There's guys out there. Emmanuel Sanders is out there.
So you're thinking the sum of those parts is going to equal more than Devontae?
No.
Well, no. I mean, I think that's the logic they're buying into, right? If
you draft 2 rookies and they pan out year 1, sure. But that, like you said, it's a long shot.
Or a mixture of veterans and rookies. I think the constant knock against Green Bay is they did not have anyone opposite of Devontae, right?
Well, so he was always locked in on him. You got the chance to draft 2 of them.
One. You're going to have to trade up for at least one of those guys.
And I'm
most likely.
And I'm going to cut this off because this is the longest I think I've taken talking about this, even listened to talk about this team. So no more Packer talk, man. Other trades. You got
relevant to the division. Just saying.
Matt Ryan and Deshaun Watson.
Boy, I wish I could take a year off work and get paid.
I guess the question was answered. We weren't going to give up that kind of capital. Jesus Christ, 6 picks. That's Herschel Walker-esque.
Yeah, we talked about Watson last week too. Man, the more I look into this, I'm gonna have to talk to the author here.
Are you sure? Are you thinking of the conference call we had?
No, we talked about Watson, and I tried to squelch. I tried to throw water on the fucking fire that was about to go down on the pod live.
But the trade happened after our last show. True or false?
After.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about Deshaun Watson.
He's awesome.
Well, boy, you've really set this conversation up to be exciting.
Just not, bro.
All right, next topic, Matt Ryan. You want to talk about that?
Boy,
No, I mean good for Cleveland, I guess. You know what I mean? They're going to be
Good
better
for
it.
Deshaun.
Boy, they are shitting all over Baker too on his way out. It's like, well, he needs to be an adult. Yada yada yada. And I keep hearing it like on the radio and shit. It's like Baker Mayfield. We finally got an adult at quarterback. It's like Baker Mayfield fucking played his heart out for you guys. Played hurt. And you're bitching about him being a little salty because you're looking at Deshaun.
Oh, don't act like if we got Deshaun and a quarterback was being mildly bitchy.
We already talked about it.
We'd be the same way.
True, but I was just like,
we'd be like
national press. Like the guy from The Athletic was even saying that shit. It's like, really?
I don't like
okay.
Baker. I think he's corny, but I think he's justified in this situation. I think the Browns have kind of handled this very ungracefully with him.
Why even give him the 5th-year option? You can still rescind it.
Or be transparent with him and don't trash him on the way out. I mean, I don't think anything he's done deserves that. And Diddy's gone. All right. Wow.
He's having issues.
Well, we know that. That's usually the case with old Diddy.
So we shall continue.
So let's talk about your favorite team, JR, the Colts. How do you feel about Matt Ryan going to the Colts for a 3rd-round pick?
Well, you better have that offensive line.
Well, the Colts have that offensive line.
You got the interior. Because you're not looking at anybody that's going to run out and fucking break contain the way. And Carson Wentz was good at that, breaking containment. But he also played hero ball. It's a move of desperation, in my opinion. But to be the 5th or 6th best team in the AFC, maybe?
Maybe. I wouldn't even think 5th or 6th. I think you're probably looking at, yeah. I mean, who's winning that division between them and Tennessee? Is that Diddy who keeps doing that?
Yes, it is. He's had enough.
Fucking asshole. Yeah, maybe 6th best team. Maybe. I mean, I still like the offense of Quentin Nelson, Matt Ryan, Michael Pittman, and Jonathan Taylor. It's not terrible.
No, but you still don't have anybody to catch the ball. So
Michael Pittman, he die?
Yeah. Really? Okay.
I mean, they also have what, 9 picks this year?
Yep.
In a deep wide receiver draft.
They could move up, down, and all around. So
I didn't think value-wise a 3rd for Ryan was bad. Now, does he have anything left in the tank is remained to be seen, but they at least have a better line than Atlanta had to offer.
Right. But yeah, that's about all I think about the Colts.
Diddy, what do you think? Are you back? Do you want to talk?
What do you guys think about remaining free agents? Who would you like to see the Bears sign?
Oh my god! Why the fuck do we do this show tonight? Look at this guy.
I don't know. I'd like to see, if you're not going to sign a tackle, I'd like to at least hear some clarification as to why. You know,
from the Bears,
from somebody. You know, it's just like.
I mean, I still think there's a lot of guys out there, though.
I don't disagree.
I mean, to me, there's only been 3 guys, offensive linemen, that have signed elsewhere that I was like, damn, I would have legit been interested in them. And 2 of them returned to their more ready to contend teams.
All right, the last update I got, correct me if I'm wrong on anybody, you got Bobby Wagner, Clowney, Stephon Gilmore, Tyrann Mathieu, Odell Beckham, J.C. Treader, Akeem Hicks,
there first.
Calais Campbell, Dwayne Brown, Julio Jones, Justin Houston, Jerry Hughes, Jarvis Landry, Steven Nelson, Nick Kwiatkowski, Emmanuel Sanders, Keelan Cole. I don't know if he's been signed yet.
I don't think he has.
That would be a name I would be interested, actually, if the Bears consider that. And here's a name. So, like, Jabril Peppers. I know I know he's been a liability in coverage, but like, I think back to the draft hype was insane.
Right.
But like, are we the whole saying beggars can't be choosers? Like, see if he has anything. Do you bring him in just to freaking compete in camp? Why the hell not? It's not like our safety core is that deep right now.
Right. I mean, we just signed DHC, right?
And Landon Collins, I think, is still out there too, which I'm interested in personally. But
I think he'd be a nice fit next to Eddie if he has anything left.
Yeah, I think the safety spot would be somewhere you should look.
and I
Wide receiver. I mean, we got
more cheap.
Yeah, CB2 is pretty critical right now.
Equinemius St. Brown.
Oh yeah,
that's who we signed.
It's gonna break out. I'm
not saying
got him for under $1 million.
Under $1 million. I hope he does break out. Shit.
Core special teams guy. That's all I'm banking on with him.
I don't know.
He's been dinged up.
He's been bounced. Well, he's also been bounced back and forth from their practice squad.
He's a Notre Dame guy. You've seen more of him than any of us.
I liked him in Notre Dame. I mean, how many guys have we liked in college that haven't panned out though?
Wish we had his brother.
I don't know. Yeah. And Byron Pringle, we got him, but you still have plenty of roster room for receivers too. I mean,
yeah.
I like the idea of Pringle. It's so many unknowns, man. Like, and the whole, it just seems like a repetitive machine with the Bears PR. Like, of course they're gonna say they're Justin this and Justin that. It was the same thing when we signed Turbo, and you put on the Mitch jersey, like, back up your quarterback, right? That's the message. Oh, and then you have Muhammad. Look at the facility; it's so great. But that's an infomercial for free agents. It's nice to see, whatever, but it's just like
social media has to put out something.
Yeah, right? I just can't wait to see like what we do in the draft and like what it equates to on the field. Like that's
right.
I'm
Absolutely.
just impatient with it right now because like the hot take shit, I'm just like I'm over, and unfortunately that's some of what we do. But like it seems this offseason is just like dragging ass.
I agree.
So,
and it hurts that we see all these other guys moving, and you see a team like the Rams, who traded away literally years of first-round picks, get a ring. They made the moves to make themselves relevant, and you want to see the Bears do that, or at least we want to see them be relevant.
I just don't think this roster is far enough along to start making moves like that. Like the Rams.
This roster's terrible, dude.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When the Rams were wheeling and dealing first-round picks, they at least had a solid core to work with, and they were just a few pieces away from going over the top. I mean, I think the Mac trade and some of these other moves that have been made pretty much signal what kind of rebuild Poles thinks this is.
Yeah, well, and you got Pace that prematurely tried to build this up thinking Super Bowl, and I understand it. If Mitch clicked, I guess it might have been a possibility, right? If he clicked, but unfortunately it didn't work out. So it's like a Florida Marlins thing.
Yes.
They build it up and then they blow it up. Like this is a blow up, man, and it's gonna be frustrating. I just hope it doesn't. I would have liked to see a little more brought in early free agency with Justin in mind. I know that there were positions that needed to be filled to help Justin, but I haven't really. There's nothing definitive right now. We have to see how it plays out. We have a first-time head coach, first-time OC, first-time DC, a bunch of receivers. The receivers we brought in, there's something to like about them, right? But we don't know.
Size and speed and youth. That seems to be the youth is the biggest push.
I need to see what they do in the draft before I start like casting judgment.
Cheap contracts keeps your future flexibility intact.
I understand. He's being responsible. Like I said, I just
future. If
it's about Justin, guys.
Yes, if you think it's about Justin, and they think it's about Justin,
if they do,
you're gonna let him get killed behind a subpar offensive line and no offensive talent around him.
No, I think the moves on the offensive line are the people we let go and the people they're bringing in is a sign of the fact that they didn't feel the right people were here.
What about your receivers?
How much of free agency, though, real quick, is the other side of it is the players have to want to play here, right? There has to be two sides to tango to make a deal. So maybe
Right.
there are guys that they've identified and gone after. Nobody's in the room. And
Yeah.
that those guys could say, you know what? No, we want to go to a more ready to contend team. And for some guys, throwing more money doesn't always work to get them there.
We're not in a position to overpay right now, though, either.
Dude, the Lions got their receiver, and we couldn't.
Shark.
Really? Did they, though?
They targeted him, and
That's
we
cool.
had him on our radar.
Yeah, we saw how it worked out last year, though. With what's his name there that went from Detroit to the Giants? Galladay. Everybody
Yeah,
wanted him for the
Galladay.
Bears last
I
year.
didn't want him.
I'm just saying that free agency is a high risk thing too.
Correct.
I get that.
Washington, they made headlines for years in free agency, and it never paid dividends. There was the Eagles' dream team that year. I mean, 2016, we signed Akeem Hicks to a 2-year, $10 million deal. He ended up being the heart and soul of the defense for 6 years. So I'm surprised by the lack of moves that have been made, but until this
I'm
thing
surprised
is
that
done, I find it hard to say, well, he hasn't done enough for Justin yet. We really don't know what it's technically going to look like.
True. What do you think about the fact that Akeem Hicks isn't signed by anybody yet? Is that more like he's on the backside and it's obvious?
Maybe he's waiting for that market to settle.
Well, no, I just read you the names, Jared. Bobby Wagner's still out there.
Yeah. All guys over 30, right?
Yeah, there's waves to this shit. I mean, the waves don't end till after the draft too.
True.
You don't want to like fill if you can't fill what you need in the draft, you go back to the whatever's left in free agency. It's just steps to that. So, like Eric Fisher keeps getting brought up, that could be a possibility. I don't know. Are they happy with the two young bookends? We don't know.
True.
We're gonna see how it all plays out, man. But
a lot could happen over these second and third waves.
I mean, what could happen right now?
The free agents I like to see, though, like I mentioned, Stephon Gilmore, come on down.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think he's in a position where he'd probably rather play for a contender at this point in his career. But
probably.
And Matthew, if Honey Badger wanted to.
Honey Badger don't care. Honey Badger don't give a fuck.
But I think a lot of these older players are going to want to go somewhere where they have a shot. If they have to take a discount because the market played out a little bit, they're gonna want that chip. So, do you guys got any other free agents you want?
I just want them to get it right, man. I think that's where we're all at. I hope the evaluations that they have on the talent on the roster right now are correct. But I don't know. We have. Go ahead.
I was gonna say he mentioned a couple names already. I mean, guys that intrigue me would be Landon Collins.
Yes.
In the box safety role. I sort of like the idea of Billy Turner coming here. A guy that Getsy knows well, but maybe the fact that they haven't signed him yet maybe screams that that's not the move to make. Why? Okay, I was about to say, why you fools? What the hell are you doing? Now you're throwing me off my damn game. And I'd like to see Jarvis Landry come here. And Eric Fisher, depending on the money. Those would be my 4 guys. And if Julio, I don't know why, I think he would really want to play for a contender at this point. But if he's willing to take a 1-year flyer, I would absolutely roll the dice on Julio and give Justin.
I think he's got a good network there in Indianapolis that he's probably going to go to.
Ooh, yeah, I could see that.
Reunited under a dome.
Yeah, I could see that. Pittman, Julio, Taylor, and Ryan. That's not looking too shabby there in the AFC South for the Colts.
I mean, it is what it is. Can you stop the run against the Titans? That's real. Jacksonville, who knows what they're going to be?
Terrible.
You say that.
I mean, probability states they'll be terrible. That could be good. I'm just saying.
Who knows?
So, Jer,
yes.
before we get into this new segment. Actually, you know what? We're gonna get into the segment in the trenches with Pony here.
Oh, here we go.
Now you watched some tape on Muhammad.
I did.
The end we got from the Colts. So did you? What did you see from that?
He's pretty much a wide 9 bull rusher. You know, he's got long arms. It sure seems like anyway. And oh God, get that off of me.
Long arms.
He's got long arms, and see, Brian got a new toy, and he's learning how to play with it.
New toy.
He's got long arms, pretty good bend. He didn't get a lot of sacks till like the last year. I think he got his first sack in week 17 of 2018. And then had a better year after that. And he's continuously gotten better. Young guy. He can redirect linemen, meaning that he can fake like he's rushing upfield and then take his closer hand to the center as, like, say, if he's on the right, it'd be his right hand, and get underneath the pads and readjust the player. So I don't expect it. He's not Khalil Mack, and if you're sitting there thinking that he's going to be Khalil Mack, you're crazy. He's a good run stopper. I think you might have a guy there that's going to really benefit the whole scheme of the defense.
I was hired to help you make this great team even better. We're doing paid time off, tuition assistance for school too. And hey, if they put in the work, they can make manager on this team.
Fuck that guy.
Should have never gave him control. You see what's going to happen though?
I'm just messing around with this whole thing. Yeah.
On Pony's new segment, can we get like a graphic of like a pony going across the screen? It's a little.
So what about the Allen Robinson was pretty open, at the end of the first half? Did you not see him? Or did you see
That's the naked play? Yeah, I know what play you're talking about. No, we're not. That he's used to run off the corner on that, but that's a naked play, and I just pulled up because the end was upfield, but that play is not designed to go to him.
What the fuck kind of placement was that?
I don't know. It sounded better on the video. You guys need to actually name these better, but okay.
You guys, yeah, like I have any control over that. Anyways, so that's the Muhammad breakdown.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, you were already done with it. Biscuits already started talking. That's why I played that. Anything else, Jared, that you picked up on?
So he's not Khalil Mack. I think we all know that.
No, I think he'll be solid though. And you got younger. And you got cheaper. So
familiarity with scheme too doesn't hurt.
Right. So there you go. We were in the trenches, and now we are out of the trenches.
There was a huge long pause. There was a huge long pause and no sound. So I played the video, and you're like, "Oh, guess I'm done. I thought you were done, bro. Sorry, my bad."
That's all right.
So you think he's gonna
into Nagy McDonald's commercial?
You think he's gonna be a good complimentary piece to Quinn?
Absolutely. He's gonna remind you more of Leonard Floyd.
Yeah, when he was here.
Yeah, he's a good run. He sets the edge well. He actually can push a guy. I mean, and is not afraid of contact. He wants the contact.
Colts fans' knock on him was kind of the pressure, which was similar to what Floyd, right?
Right. I think he's going to remind you a little bit of Leonard Floyd. He's going to set the edge, but it looks like from what I've seen, that, though? Oh, he's not as fast as Leonard Floyd. But I'm talking about his ability to set the edge. That's what I'm saying.
He's good in the run game.
Set and hold. Yes, he's very good in the run game. And I think that's a theme that you're going to see. You're going to see guys that are good in the run. You're going to stop the run because they had to in Indy. Think about it. Who you got in Tennessee that you got to stop twice a week or twice a year, I should say. You know, that philosophy is going to carry over.
Jerry McNichols is really good. You're right.
You fucking
insert laugh here. God damn, y'all are like bumps on the fucking logs tonight, man.
Well,
What am I
it's
supposed to do with
it's about to get turned up because we're now doing True Biscuits new segment. Butter your biscuits on Twitter, where Biscuits lets us know all the goings on of the great institution that is Bears Twitter. Biscuits, what do you got?
All right.
What do you got, Biscuits?
Let's
what's on there, Biscuits?
Let's get into the first topic here. People are
Topic
coming after me. I'm slaying them down left and right. Ryan Bates hype train. We touched on it briefly earlier. If you are not on the Ryan Bates hype train, the Legion will come after you. Apparently, he's a guy that we cannot let leave the building. Gentlemen, I ask you, is it that dire? I don't know. Is he sleeping there right now? I saw that. What's that fucking dude's name? Brandon Jacobs put out that tweet that first person he met through the door was Ian Cunningham. You know, the dude who fucking makes up. He's under the floorboards of Hallis Hall.
Right.
Got all the sources. Said the first person he met walking through the door was Ian Cunningham, and people ate that shit up like it was true. So is he, boys? Is he a guy that you cannot let leave the building? Let's settle this.
No.
Don't always jump at once, guys. All right. That's a no from Pony. Diddy's reading something.
I am, and I'm gonna read it right now because Brad Spielberger. Okay, probably had the best tweet of everybody. PFF Brad.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The Ryan Bates discourse is why I absolutely love Bears Twitter. Legitimately crazed fan base. Laugh my fucking ass off. We'll be ready to fire Ryan Poles if he doesn't sign a guy whose name they learned 72 hours ago.
Well said, PFF Brad. Completely agree.
Blue check marks matter, people.
He doesn't have one, Jer.
He doesn't?
No.
Oh damn! I thought
We're just gonna pretend he does. I had some fuckwad today come after me and said that I need to look in the mirror because other people have taken a dive into the player.
Burner account.
I know, but I can't fucking help myself when I have an idiot who's like, "You need to look in the mirror, bro. People have done research.
People dying out in these Twitter streets, boys."
Fuck out of here! Your 10-minute Google search.
Well, I think it's the same. I think Twitter's the same. No matter what, right? But like these are literally people that we really don't know much about, and they're still trying to go hard in the paint. Like if it were people we knew something about, just to try to get clout.
Yeah,
it's
right. Or act like they know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, sometimes nobody knows shit because we don't even know what the true offensive and defensive schemes are. We haven't seen it in practice.
Yeah, but Twitter is just brain farts, man.
Yes.
I mean, it's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to say, hey, I like Bates' upside potential. He's a guy that I would like to see them sign. Boom, leave it at that, done. But for the people that are like, you don't know shit, he is the man. Like, Jesus Christ,
we talked
really
about this.
Taking it to this fucking level?
Yeah, we talked about this. It's like a lot of people take their Twitter feed, their Twitter page as they're trying to brand themselves. It's really weird now. The dynamics change. Like, I don't really care. It's always been like a place where you just like the things you just want to, the things you think you could put out to the Twitterverse. It's just random thoughts. To me, that's how it's always been. That's what it was originally designed to be.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but now you got these like people trying to brand them, like make a brand out of themselves. It's a whole different vibe.
People trying to brand themselves off of burnt steaks and shit. Losers.
Exactly. Like,
Jer, when you mentioned Latavius Simmons in your tweet, how many people like poo-pooed that in the comments and came after?
Oh, there was a few. I just said, it's just a thought, man. Who knows? You don't know how these coaches view these players. Nobody does. And that was the point of the thought. It was just like, we don't know how they view this roster. We have an idea based on the way that they're handling the free agency. But realistically, we don't have a clue. And maybe he's very happy that he has the guys that he has on the roster right now. And there's nothing wrong with that thought. There's also nothing wrong with the thought of you have guys that you're focused on in the draft that you feel like you can get and can help your team.
Yeah.
We're gonna hear from him this week at some point. So
That'll be interesting to hear. I imagine there'll be a few questions lobbed at him about that.
That's why I wanted to wait until they went.
And to parlay on that real quick, to ask you guys, do you think it was a mistake that they did not have media availability after the Larry O physical failure? Because I know there was some discourse online between some beat reporters and some other people about that was a massive PR mistake on Pole's part.
So they didn't stream the interviews, which I found a little odd. The pressers for the new guys. Normally, historically, the Bears have always you have the GM address the media. Everybody, it's out there for stream and introduce the free agents. So I thought he was gonna talk. So when I saw that, I'm like, is he avoiding that part of it that they normally do? Because we always see the GM and. Pace used to come in. This is why we signed him. This is why we signed him. Then they bring them in the interview.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I thought he was avoiding when I saw that tweet. And I thought, like, going after the people that were going after Weeder, it's just like everybody's just like any negativity, they just jump all over. Like they're reporting, they're sharing their opinion. Like it's just like let's cancel Weeder now, I guess. Like people just go hard in the paint. Like.
And not in a good way.
No, it's wild, man. I mean, you got, and that leads to the Bears Madness bracket thing.
Well, I'd go into the next one first, and that's the great debate right now between.
We were just talking that. That's why I didn't want to.
All right.
Like, is Poles being too conservative?
Seems like it's 50-50. 50% of people think that he's being way too conservative. One person has coined it as recklessly conservative. And then there's the other side that says, be patient, wait. We're a week into free agency. Let's see how it plays out before we rush to make any grand proclamations on where this thing's headed.
I mean, I think he's been aggressive, actually. It's just not the aggression we wanted to see. We wanted to see I think a lot of us want to see more aggressiveness with the free agent signings. But as far as breaking this thing down, he's made some aggressive moves, like as far as like cleaning house.
Yeah, cleaning up cap.
That's a good point.
So
you clean up cap so you can make a run, right?
Yeah, and I think it'd be irresponsible just to like let a bunch of guys go and overpay a bunch of guys to take their spots. It's not. This is a rebuild, so it's as frustrating as it is. And yes, he's been conservative, but does he have a choice? If you don't want to get back into the same fucking problem that you're trying to get out of, like, correct. It's a balance. He's been aggressive He's been aggressive this offseason. It's just not like the aggressiveness that some people want to see when they're playing Madden and they look at the free agent pool and they just bring the top names in to fill roster spots. Shit don't work that way.
That's a perfect analogy for that.
That's what people want, though. That's the crazy part of what we're seeing. It's like, oh, we all want to play Madden. Well, motherfucker, you can't play Madden in real life.
Yeah. Which leads us to the March Madness that on Bears Twitter that they somehow figure out brackets and placements, and people are actually throwing out there that if you do lose and you need somebody to talk to, bullshit. I'm like, are you?
I saw that.
Oh my god! Like you're offering like a help hotline for people that feel rejection from.
What?
Like I went up against Mark Potash, bro. I knew damn well I was gonna get smoked.
So let's talk about that there for a second. How do you feel about being a lower seed than Pony?
He got way more.
For those listening, Diddy was a 15th seed.
Yeah,
Pony was a 14th seed, and I was a 13th seed.
I don't give a fuck about any of it, to be honest. But I will say this: 21% as a 15th seed going up against a 2 is more impressive than everybody else in the show.
I was pretty impressed with your 21%. Not gonna lie. I had 24%. Thank you.
Oh no, I got destroyed.
Thank you to the 430 people that voted for me. Pony, what did you end up getting?
I don't know, like 18% probably.
And
you know what?
13% against Infante.
Hey. Who was the competition though? Infante? Like you should.
Yeah,
blue check mark. Blue check mark.
Shout out Pete Shells, who ended up taking down Reed Jack Silverstein, who's a great follow on Twitter. Our boy, Indiana turned Purdue fan Braggs, ended up beating some dude that I've never heard of by a landslide.
Yeah.
You know the Braggs Brigade rolls hard. Raul got smoked by Aaron Lemming.
That's
Ill
funny
Will
because
over
those
at
two
Three
actually
Kings
have.
went down. And shout out to Malcolm. Malcolm was in there. 21% going up against
Shout out
Sylvie.
to my boy Sergu, okay? Because
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Good call, Diddy.
that's a Cinderella story right there. Came up and smacked the blog right in the dome.
Everybody, yeah. Shout out to Brendan. That was pretty awesome.
And then the blog like made some
saw
like
the tweet.
backhanded remark, all pissy, like
Because he wanted to go up against Weeder.
It's so stupid, dude. Like I don't
It
know.
was
Man.
funny for a while.
It's something. It's a subject, definitely, but like people that actually take that shit seriously. Like I was like, thank you to the 19%. Like,
No
that
doubt.
voted for me.
I had
For
fun
that-
with it. I had fun. I was shocked that we even made it. I was looking on there. I'm like, I don't even follow this guy. He doesn't follow me. Like, how the hell did he get my account
Good.
on there?
Good on him.
Yeah, good on him. You made the right choice, including us.
I thought,
And
it was funny.
excluding others.
There were people that weren't on there that I was like, oh, it's all bullshit. But yeah, I mean,
It's fun.
It's all in good fun. I
I
mean,
mean, that's
I'm
the
not-
thing. But people
Exactly.
actually get real on that shit. Like,
Do any three of us need counseling for getting sub 25% voting totals?
no, I think Potsy losing to Potsy. I think I'm pretty much okay.
Honestly, I
can't-
thought 24% was an accomplishment for me. It was
I
like,
just can't believe 180 people voted for me. So whatever.
Who'd you go up against? Bears Nation, whatever the fuck. I didn't even know what that.
Oh,
what is-
so now you're trashing me. Now you're saying that I lost to someone that I should have smoked.
I'm just saying, out of the three of us in this room right now, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jared's like, I'm going up against a real
Now-
reporter. I'm
now
like,
I
it's
do need counseling.
All right, biscuits though. He's like, I'm going up against a real reporter. It's like it's Infante, bro.
He's got a check mark.
Oh God, Jared.
Hey, listen, Bears Nation rolls hard. All right, that account is
Ah,
popping at all times of the day.
Oh, is it? I don't know. I have to check.
Again,
It was fun, man. And like
Yeah, it was
I told
fun.
him, I knew I was going to get killed by Infante. I shouldn't be killed by Infante.
Oh yeah, Potsy.
spends
man.
way more
I
time-
actually like Potsy. So
Posse's not bad.
cool to be
I was just
mentioned.
happy to see some OGs on there, not some of these other people. And shout out to Brendan for taking down the log. I think a lot of people are happy to see that.
I want to see Weeder win it just to get him really rattled.
Yeah, who won it last year? Was it Chris Emma? I believe won it last year.
I mean, yeah, you think like if it was just Bears Twitter and you're voting for the most popular, maybe Hogue.
He's on a hot streak with the CHGO and the Brian
Yeah,
Urlacher
they had
interviews.
Urlacher on there. Yeah, that was cool.
It's so, God, I don't know what the word is for it. It's so clean. Although Urlacher did drop a shit and a few other words on there, so
Yeah, but it was cool to see him on just because we're going back to that style of defense with the loafs, and they were kind of getting into that, and like it was just good. It was good talk. They actually did a really good show with him. Like him and Olin going back and forth. It was cool.
yeah. I like what he said about Olin being a Hall of Famer and Kevin Mawai agreeing.
Yeah, and it's cool. I mean, you remember the Bears bros and how they started out kind of doing what we're doing, and good for Nick for climbing, man. Like honestly,
Yeah.
They teamed up with the right group. That's a DNVR group.
yeah, we all bust balls on Twitter, but like it's actually cool to see people climb with it, man. I have no.
Gives you hope.
I don't have. I hope for what?
Well, we're on our way to millions, bro. You just ain't noticing yet.
Listen, man, I'm just trying to get a free ball trimmer to shave my biscuits.
No, I
That's
just think
it,
it's cool to see, those guys kind of, they took a lot of shit at times from people, and they kind of just kept rolling. And
Young, smart.
Did they
kids,
take a
man.
lot of shit from people?
back in the
Oh,
day,
they
yeah,
did. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
They
for
took
real?
a lot of shit.
yeah.
And they mostly stayed above board on it.
I mean,
Which-
public
Like, good for them.
humiliation bullshit.
What?
Like,
Yeah, like people trying to fight them and shit.
taking
What?
videos of it and posting it online. Yeah, it's
What
stupid
the
shit.
fuck?
They
All
always
right.
they always turned the other cheek and freaking kept it real for what they do, and good for them for making
Yeah,
it.
well, they get the last laugh.
And they
then,
were
don't they?
nice. I met them at the combine. They were nice to me. They knew who I was.
Yeah, I met them at the 100-year. They were decent.
Yeah. Nick's a good dude. Bill's an IU fan, so I said
Sorry.
Bill. Will DeWitt. Oh, stop. You say sorry.
You're
We're
gonna be
gonna find-
sorry after Friday night.
Shit.
Ooh.
We're coming in your house and stealing your cookies, boy.
So is this the women's tournament? I'm
Yes.
assuming. So we
This
got
is- if it
Indiana versus UConn. Pony versus Salt Diddy. Who is taking this thing? Hit me with the basketball preview, boys.
UConn by 10.
Wow, no faith in Indiana.
How's
How's Paige
UConn.
looking, Diddy? How's Paige looking?
She's not healthy yet.
Oh,
Not 100%.
she
But-
playing though?
Yeah, she's playing. Yeah, she's
Right.
she's not totally 100% yet, but we'll see.
IU beat a pretty damn good Princeton squad led by a former UConn girl. I can't remember her name, but they were like 26-5 and had to come back and hold on at home. So who knows?
The tournament's fun, man. I enjoy. I mean,
The other tournament, Jesus Christ, my bracket's completely fucked.
yeah, like even the women's basketball in Connecticut's a big deal. I know, like to me, I enjoy watching it. So, but
And this is a Sweet 16 matchup, right?
It is.
Yes.
Yeah, UConn's
All right.
28th consecutive year making the Sweet 16 is insane.
Damn,
Yep.
that's impressive.
Yeah,
That
they're
really is
good.
impressive. That is.
REM is
Shout
the
out to
man.
Gino. Yeah. So, can I convince you boys to maybe set a wager on this game?
No,
Little
Jared doesn't
friendly
want that.
wager?
I'm
Come
not
on
even doing
now.
that to him.
Come on. You should leave it up to the underdog if he wants to make a wager. Do
Biscuits.
No.
They're playing.
Something, something funny. Come on.
They're playing in Connecticut, bro.
So what?
Well, we'll
I
have
mean,
to see.
Indiana was good enough to make the Sweet 16. Who's to say? And
They
you guys,
they
did
were Elite Eight.
UConn-
No, we went final. Did we go Final Four last year? I think we did.
didn't UConn barely just scrape by the round of 32?
UCF's tough on defense.
UCF's
dude.
tough. Princeton's
just
tough.
saying.
It's going to be a good game. I'll tell you this. It should be a really, really good game. And if Allie Patberg can get going,
I smell a wager.
No wager, bro.
there's
Like,
nothing
listen,
to
if
wager.
Indiana wins, Jared's gonna mail you like a Grateful Dead T-shirt that hasn't been washed in 3 months, and you have to wear it on the next pod.
I am
No.
good.
I'm not letting anybody wear that. That's mine.
All right, so there's no wager to be had, or
No.
wager
No.
wager
No wager.
to be determined. Listeners, I will work on this behind the scenes. We will get something going. There will be a wager. When is this game being played?
Friday.
All right, so I have until Friday. Listeners,
Follow the pod page.
get ready.
Follow the
Yeah.
pod page. Follow the website. Follow the Tumblr. Why are we posting from like every
Because
time?
we can.
Who the hell? What the hell's Tumblr?
I like how you're not the one
Oh.
posting things, but complaining about like why are we doing it?
Actually,
Because we can.
I do post it from Apple Podcasts where people actually download. What the fuck?
Um,
Tumblr and
Fucking with you. Actually, I
Yeah.
don't even know what Tumblr is. I'll be honest with you.
It used to be it's an older website thing. It's still there.
So like E-Bombs World.
No, it used to be like where you could get like GIFs and shit. That's where GIFs really took off at.
yeah, it's back in the DOS days.
Yeah. It's old
Boom.
school. Hey man,
Let's
it's an
drop
option on.
some tailgate show gifs. Maybe an NFT
We have
or
a
two.
TikTok. We have a TikTok.
I have the NFT ready to go. I just don't know if the world's ready for it.
I have a feeling I know exactly
Yeah.
which one you're referencing. hey, Coob, we're gonna send
Hey.
that to you.
Coop's
You'll
Corner, baby.
You'll get a
How about
sneak
that?
preview
Yeah,
in
Coop's
Coob's corner of that NFT.
Coop's Corner doing 10-minute hits, and he's packing a lot into those 10-minute joints. So like, definitely go check that out. That's gonna be posted under our pod. We're kind of he's under the umbrella of the Tailgate Show. So yeah, Coop's Corner.
We want to support him.
Posted
He's
one
been a
today.
good,
Yeah, he's doing a good job, man. He's keeping it to the point, not like we do sometimes, and he's a quick hitter. It's good shit. So
Yep, and he's
definitely
got
check
his
it
own
out.
RSS too. Check him out.
I really enjoyed the first one. I'm going to listen to the second one tonight, but I really enjoyed his first drop. Straight
Listen
to the
closely.
point.
He's got a lot of names in there. He
I
dropped
wish-
a lot of names.
Man's got a
wish-
good voice too. He's got a good radio voice.
I wish
Did
we
not
could rap.
expect that.
I wish we could
Deep.
wrap this shit up in 10 minutes.
We can. All right, wrap it up.
And that's just another episode of The Tailgate Show.
Trojan man. Duh, slow free agency period.
Duh, misplaced ads.